Come on, Pikachu. Come on, Pikachu. Retropalooza 2024, Houston, Texas. Let's do it, baby. Woo! Yes, once again, we are back with another convention video. I know I haven't really been doing them lately besides when I met Charles Martinet at Collecticon Houston, but I feel like Retropalooza is the one convention I will continue to come back to. Around this time last year, I went to Retropalooza 2023 with a full-on list of multiple games I wanted to play live and make videos on, but this time around, things are different because I have now made it my goal to collect every single North American game within the 3DS library. Now, I'm not going feral trying to complete this set as quick as possible. Number one, because I don't really have all the money in the world to drop all at once, and two, well, let's just say I don't have all that space to fit over 400 3DS games as well, so slow and steady will be my way to collect for this set. Now, I will start off by saying I love Retropalooza. I love that Billy and Jay from the Gamechasers are able to put on this gaming convention every year because besides small local swap meets that you rarely hear about, this is like the main event for Houston when it comes to retro collectors. But this time around, I feel like there were a few issues with it. And I don't want to sound like a hater or disrespect anything about this convention, but I do want to be honest and I'll slowly lead my way into it. By now you can probably already see how many Funko Pops there were here at this booth I was standing in, which is kind of part of the issue I was having. This booth was cool though, because if it is one thing I do love to see, it's older Pokemon toys. And also this Pokemon Platinum DS case was pretty cool, but it was an entirely different language. Going around seeing all these cool little pieces is always just so fun, even if you've got a strict budget. Kinda like how I did this time around. Whilst looking around, I stumbled into one of my favorite vendors already, Richard at Ultra Pinku. He's actually the one that sold me my Hylian Shield 2DS XL last year. I love when connections start to form here at these conventions, and you'll start to see just a few more in a bit. Now, I could show off a bunch of games because trust me, there are tons here, but I like to show off the little one-off items such as displays or even super rare collectible items as well. And once again, I ran into another one of my favorite vendors, Zach over at The Cultured Gamer. It's always so nice seeing these guys every year, even at other conventions in other cities. So shout out to Zach. I know he's trying to get his video momentum going. This guy is amazing, I swear. He's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. Over at Zach's booth as well, he had some pretty nice big box items tucked away behind the table, but that's when I remembered I've also been looking for the Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series that was released for the Switch everywhere else but America. Just look at this entire wall of Switch games. This is literally just like looking at a brick wall. Sadly, no Klonoa, but it's always nice seeing a friend here. And here's where I finally made one of my big purchases. Now, I talked about being a little bit on a budget, and I didn't really want to spend over $200 because that's kind of all the cash I had on me. So when I saw a full row of 3DS games, this is where I had to strike. I did manage to pick out 5 games altogether from here for a grand total of $105. Not too bad, and to be honest, as I look back at a lot of this footage, I'm kind of kicking myself because I definitely wish I had a way bigger budget because a lot of these games are at least around market value or a little bit under. And that's not even including the fact that you can haggle with a lot of these vendors because that's kind of what these conventions are all about as well. But here is where I start to express a little bit of frustration this time around. Alright, so it seems like there's a lot more toys here than actual video games. I don't know how I feel about that truly, but we're gonna keep looking. I already spent half of my budget so far, so we'll have to see. Mwah. Like I said a little bit earlier, I don't want to hate on anything, but I think this time around, Retropalooza might have gotten overshadowed by Houston's Gamechasers this year, because both of these conventions were going on at once, and John Cena was at this year's Gamechasers, so I'm pretty sure the majority of people that wanted to come here wanted to meet him instead. We got here at the convention about an hour and a half after the doors opened, and even the 3 hours we were here, it seemed quiet and just like not a lot of traffic going on. Nonetheless, besides the less foot traffic, and although I do like to look at old toys from the past, maybe I'm just a little bit bitter and want to see a lot more 3DS games at every booth. And here is where I made my next purchase. I should have picked up a lot more things from this booth because there were a few oddities that you never really see, but that's just what happens when you're in the moment. I picked up Mario Party Island Tour because surprisingly I did not have one of the most basic Mario games for the 3DS. I don't know, but $15 for this one doesn't seem bad at all. Moving along, it's pretty interesting to see what people just kind of throw in their bargain bins. For instance, all these game cases, or even this really cool DS bowling ball style bag. Oh my god, that was weird to say. I hesitated buying this, but ultimately I just had to let it go. Those are just more items that take up space than anything. Nah, I don't need it. Of course, while you're here as well, there's the chance to buy different region games such as all these Japanese games this seller had. Bootleg toys. I think these might be bootlegs. It's really cool to always see the artists around here though. Bonus points whenever they're doing something way different than others and just really stick out in a good way. I think the next time I do one of these videos, I definitely need to get the name of each vendor or booth that I show off, because it just really helps getting names out, and just taking pictures of cards and stuff is really nice. Sadly, at this booth, there were a few 3DS games I really needed, but I don't care to pay the extra pricing when it comes to sealed 3DS games because I actually enjoy playing physical cartridges. Yeah, call me weird, it's whatever. I know the 8-shop is a thing, but I'm a physical collector at this point. So let's move on to the next booth, where I actually found a lot more 3DS games that I was planning on buying. As you can see with my little stack, I actually was going to throw in this Rhythm Thief game, which is a pretty expensive 3DS game, but there was something a little bit off at this booth as they didn't have prices on the games at all. So of course, when I asked how much, the guy said I'd have to look it up. And whenever I hear that at booths, I put the game back and I just don't care for it anymore, because that just kills the vibes, man. Next booth. One thing I love here at conventions are CRTs. This little Sony one specifically caught my eye because I just always love how small they used to make TVs back then, and I would have considered picking this one up if it wasn't cracked. These guys also had some pretty vintage things such as this Vectrex as well, but you know, I don't care for that stuff. You know what I'm here for. I'm here for 3DS games, baby, and look at this entire bin that they had. Sadly, once again, I had to skip out on them because of my stupid budget. Oh my goodness, $200 is not enough to spend here at one of these conventions. I recommend you bringing like $500 if you ever come to a gaming convention. These were cool though, because these 3DS games are some that you never really see out in the wild, so yeah, I was kind of kicking myself for that as well. As I was kind of finishing up searching around the booths, I didn't know it then, but I had some pretty big things about to happen to me within the next 15 minutes. Because as I was picking up more 3DS games, which I did in fact pick up this Roller Coaster Tycoon 3DS game, a viewer of mine from TikTok actually recognized me. That's me, possibly. Hello.
Hi,
well, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Nice to meet you. My name's Sally.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And she actually makes videos as well and said that because of my video from last year's convention, she wanted to come check it out this year, which is such a great compliment in itself. And to be able to meet people in person that enjoy what I make, it's just so freaking amazing. So shout out to Sally because she even has some amazing videos on her social medias. She's super sweet. She was there with her boyfriend Michael and her little brother. Oh, they were so cool. And finally, as the convention was coming to an end, this beautiful Pikmin 4 display caught my eye from afar, so I just kinda had to see what they wanted for it. Turns out the guy who was selling it is more of a personality and not really big on the whole reselling thing, so I managed to get what I feel a pretty good deal on. And how much did you say once again?
You could have it for $100 flat because you're a cool dude.
Hoo-wee! Oh man. General Malice honestly is probably one of the coolest guys I met here. This man was just radiating an energy so positive. I wish I could have stayed for hours just talking to him about YouTube and just media, but maybe some things will happen soon. That next level Pikmin era was so amazing last year. I played through all 4 games over on my Twitch. You just should have been there, honestly. And to actually end this convention, another guest that was here, Tales of Taylor, was selling some items of his own. This vintage Super Mario Bros. Backpack that we had no idea if it was real or a bootleg for $20 is a deal I don't think I could pass up on, so that's pretty much it. Overall, no matter what, I'm going to love going to Retropalooza because it's the one big gaming convention Houston gets every year, but hopefully next year, no other events overshadow this one because it kind of seemed like a little bit of a toy fair instead. I'll see you all in Dallas, baby.